Okay, we're continuing with this book here, The Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes, by me, Pete Rogers. We're on part 3 of John Taylor Gatto, the greatest teacher ever in the United States. He wrote a bunch of books like, dumbing down American education, those sorts of things. Okay, so here's the quotes by Gatto. Grade school and high school are designed to produce conformist, mediocre intellects, easy to manage, unable to speak or write well. Yep, that's what I've seen. Most people cannot speak or write well, and so when they get screwed over, they really can't defend themselves. They're basically helpless. Okay, by Bell's and many other similar things, school teaches that nothing is worth finishing. The gross error of this is progressive. If nothing is worth finishing, then by extension, nothing is worth starting either. And I can remember being back in school, just bored out of my mind, staring out the window, dreaming about recess, and then, goofing off in class, getting in trouble. It was just a big waste of time. They basically teach children that life is meaningless, there is no God, get them to disrespect their parents, be promiscuous, only care about kids their own age, and a little clique. Okay, Gatto continues. The truth is that grade school and high schools don't teach anything except how to obey orders. Schooling comes from without. It is not connected to immediate goals. It isolates things and keeps kids dependent. A true education comes from within. It's self-directed. It builds the individual. It builds confident, independent minds. It makes connections between things. It builds skill. Yeah, good education teaches you judgment. This is good. This is bad. Starch is good. Processed food is bad. That's how you have to get through life, making decisions, and that's what you should have. All this stuff in school about be non-judgmental, multiculturalism, that's all BS. That's all designed to destroy the individual and destroy the country. Okay, he says, true education builds your skills. You need to build your own skills of observation so you can make observations and objective judgments. And then he continues, is there any idea more radical in the history of the human race than turning your children over to total strangers whom you know nothing about and having those strangers work on your child's mind out of your sight for a period of 12 years? Gatto's absolutely correct. Why do you trust the public school system? It hates your children's guts. Now, don't give me this crap about it's there to educate your kids. No, it's not. It's there to try to destroy your child, okay? They send your kids to a nurse so they can drug your child with amphetamines. They castrate children, and then they use some bullshit euphemism, gender-affirming surgery, while they're castrating children. Those people are sick in the head. They're scum. Okay, I know some of the teachers are nice and they mean well. All right, that is true. But the teachers don't understand. They're part of a big system, and the people running the system hate your child's guts. Okay, their job, as they see it, the people who run the system, is to try to destroy your child, make them as stupid and incompetent and conformist as possible. I mean, it's ridiculous. You study all these things, you don't remember any of them. They're a complete waste of time. I asked a whole bunch of medical students, residents, all these people, what do you remember, and nurses, techs, clerks, what do you remember from high school and college? From grade school and high school. And almost every single person said nothing except how to type, driver's ed, and then maybe one or two teachers that they liked. That was it. A big empty space. There's no Bible, there's no ancient Greeks, there's no Renaissance, there's no learned to love reading, I learned to speak a language. No. They memorized stuff for Spanish and forgot everything. It's designed to be that way. Okay, so Gatto continues. Could there be a more radical idea than that? Back in the colonial days in America, if you proposed that kind of idea, they would have burnt you at the stake as a mad person. It's a mad idea. Public schools are the most radical adventure in history. They kill the family by monopolizing the best times of childhood and by teaching disrespect for the home and for the parents. One of the first things a family tries to teach its children is the difference between good and evil, between right and wrong. But one of the first things a school does is try to destroy that distinction. Do we really need school? I don't mean education, just forced schooling. 6 classes a day, 5 days a week, 9 months a year for 12 years. Is this deadly routine really necessary? And if so, for what? Don't hide behind reading, writing, and arithmetic as a rationale, because 2 million happy homeschoolers have surely put that banal justification to rest. Schooling makes people dumber, not brighter. Makes families weaker. It ruined formal religion with its exclusion of God. Anyone who is more interested in human beings than in rules is a threat to the system. Sounds like conventional medicine. This is the sad current situation with American institutions. The institutions have been turned against the American citizens. The public school system is designed to destroy American children. The conventional medical system is designed to rip off the patient. You know, tons of your so-called political leaders are just, puppets who are against you. Okay, look at the so-called rulers in Ireland. They're trying to then side the Irish people. Okay, and they were doing the same thing in the USA. It's just luckily enough they've been slowed down. Hopefully that's not going to come back, but who knows? I wouldn't be so sure it isn't. Why did they destroy the Boy Scouts? Because the Boy Scouts were good. Okay, why did they promote Planned Parenthood? Because it's getting rid of Christian babies. That's why they like it. Okay, why do they think they keep MAID, medical assistance in dying? Because it gets rid of Christians. Okay. Why do they want that assistance in, okay, so enough of all that. Let's get back to Gatto. Gatto says, children know that schooling is not fair, it's not honest, and it's not driven by integrity. They know they are devalued in classes and in grades, that the institution is indifferent to them as individuals. The rhetoric of caring contradicts what school procedure and content says. Yeah, I remember just hating school, but I couldn't articulate. As a young guy, I just knew it was bad. I knew I didn't like being there. I knew it was a waste of time, but I couldn't say anything. And my parents were old school that thought, oh, you go to school to get an education. They didn't know any better. Gatto. When you take the free will out of education, it turns into schooling. It is absurd and anti-life to be compelled to sit in confinement with people of exactly the same age and social class. The system effectively cuts you off from the immense diversity of life and the synergy of variety. Indeed, it cuts you off from your own past and future, sealing you into a continuous present, much of the same way that television does. The lesson of report cards and grades and tests is that children should not trust themselves or their parents, but should rely instead on the evaluation of certified officials. One thing you'll see in a cow, then the moon, and of course follows east system, they always want everything centralized. The central planners for grade school and high school education make centralized lesson plans, has centralized standard testing, all to make everybody the same, to get rid of any individuality, to get rid of nonconformity, to reward the idle drudges and the snitches. Okay, this is not in the best interest of the child. If I could go back again, I would ditch every day, or I would get an experimental class or something to get out of it. Or the ideal thing would be to be homeschooled. If you can't do that, go to a religious school. And if you can't do that, go to special ed or something where you can do whatever you want. I don't know. Okay, let's continue with John Taylor Gatto. He says, no wonder. He says, who besides a degraded rabble would voluntarily present themselves to be graded and classified like meat? No wonder schooling is compulsory. Due to its emphasis on competition, institutional education leaves a large population of losers, damaged to the self-concept that they cannot succeed no matter what they have a heart to do. School's just memorization. If you want to do well in school, get good at memorization. But what they never teach memorization or study skills. Okay, it is the great triumph of compulsory monopoly mass schooling that among even the best of my fellow teachers and among even the best of my students' parents, only a small number can imagine a different way of doing things. Yeah, everybody just thinks school's what you should do. No, people didn't go to school. People were more educated in the 1800s without schools. You can learn a lot more on your own reading than you can going to school. Okay, John Taylor Gatto. Even among the best of my students and parents, only a small number could imagine a different way. Whatever an education is, it should make you a unique individual, not a conformist. It should furnish you with an original spirit with which to tackle the big challenges. It should allow you to find values which will be your roadmap through life. It should teach you what is important and how to live. Yeah, you should learn how to grow food. You should learn how to filter water. You should learn how to change the tires on your car, how your car engine works, okay? How a reverse osmosis filter works, how to finance a car, how to finance a house, how to choose a spouse. Those are useful things, okay? What the truth is about nutrition. Okay, Gatto continues. Schooling comes from without. Okay, we already did that quote. Okay, here's the last one for this session. Growth and mastery come only to those who vigorously self-direct, initiating, creating, doing, reflecting, freely associating, and enjoying privacy. Precisely what the structures of schooling are set up to prevent. on one pretext or another. Yeah, you need time to read and think. Anyways, hope that was helpful. That's it for part 3.